wondered, like, if it was because of business reasons, or, because it just suddenly started to shift, like where it wasn't working for me to do Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who actually does kind of like a live concert, for lack of a better word. And he was recording, and all of a sudden he did the whole thing, and it did not post. It didn't have a video or anything. So it wasn't even, the live wasn't even happening. He hit the button and nothing happened. So I
Yeah,
think they're starting to crack down on that.
I think that could be like, maybe they want people to pay more money to do the live
Mhm,
stuff and have sponsorship
mhm,
and all. Yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, this is being recorded, so it's going to also then go into YouTube, and I'll post the
Okay.
YouTube of this in, probably like a couple of hours, and it'll be
Okay.
also recorded and put onto, all of the platforms that I stream this podcast on. So welcome, Kamille. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you on MoodConnect today, for our 16th episode. And from the first time I heard you on Women Empower X on Clubhouse, I I was like, whoa, this is a woman that I really want to talk to, and just, get to know. And I'm so glad that you're here with us today.
Well, thank you. I'm very honored to be here.
Um, so so I read a little bit about Blind Girl Vision and iSee Technologies, the two companies that you founded. Um, and I wanted to get, an idea of exactly, when did you get the inspirations to start those companies? Like what really drove you towards that?
Well, let's see. So I'm totally blind from birth. So I was born totally blind. And for me, there was never any limitations placed on myself. So from a very early age, I was always growing up with, all the encouragement. I was always challenged to expand and grow myself and grow my courage and just, be confident in the things that I do. And there was never any challenges. There was no sheltering. I still did everything that my siblings did. I participated in all the extracurricular activities. And my mother was an integral part of that. She was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest advocate. So, like I said, I just grew up with lots of love and lots of support. Um, but as I, you know, grew and, became an adult and whatnot, I had a lot of support at home and family support. But of course, in the world, you know, people don't really see people who have any kind of disability really as being capable a lot of the time. So you got to do a lot of showing and proving and all of that. So sometimes, your confidence gets a little shaken, just a little bit, and for me, that's what happened. My confidence was shaken, self-esteem took a couple of hits and all of that stuff. But I also knew that I had a gift inside of me that was my voice. I did radio for about 3 years, and it was a fun job. But again, I didn't know how to advocate for myself and who I am and what I could do. So, I left that and did something totally different, which was became a massage therapist, because again, I didn't have to really, I could show more of what I could do in that arena. Then it's like, listen, this is it. It's comfortable. I didn't have to really prove much. People already automatically was like, oh, you're really good at this because you're blind and you use your hands and all that. But it didn't make me happy and it didn't bring me joy. So in doing that, while I was a massage therapist, I started doing a lot of speaking and speaking to those who are in the blind and visually impaired community, and also those in the sighted community. But I started realizing that I didn't want anybody else to feel like they didn't have a voice and they weren't able to use their gifts properly. So I started honing those skills. And a lot of times I started, working with people and encouraging them and inspiring them to really figure out what the gifts are inside of them, and operate in those gifts so that you'll be able to live your vision. And then that blind girl vision was born, because like I said, I might be blind, but of course I was born with a vision for my life. I was born with a gift inside of me, and I want, I'm using it now. And so I encourage others to do that. Now, also while doing this, long time ago, the iPhone came out, and I got an iPhone, and people were seeing me use it. And, my peers who were blind saw me. And again, I also was very involved in the blind and visually impaired community. So that friends would often ask me to teach them how to use their phones. And then one of my friends was like, Kamille, you can turn this into a business, right? And I was like, oh, I guess I could. But the more I started, again, working in the community of for the blind and visually impaired, I started realizing that my area that I really wanted to focus on with that was people who recently lost their sight. Because those of us who are born blind a lot of times, or have been blind for a long time, we're figuring things out all the time. We're constantly figuring things out. But if someone loses their sight suddenly, then they're already trying to navigate this world, or even gradually, actually, they're already trying to navigate this world of blindness. It's a whole new way of life. And then you have this paperweight that used to be your phone, and you don't know how to use it. So then you've got to have people come over, get all in your business, slide into your DMs for you and check them and answer your phone, because you don't even know how to answer your phone. And you don't know that there's a software on every iPhone and Apple product called VoiceOver that will allow you to use your screen independently. So that is why I started iSee Technologies, because I want to work with people so that they can regain their independence and reconnect with the world around them. So that is what inspired me to start both of those companies.
Wow, yeah. So um yeah, like it is really helpful, especially for people who they weren't born blind. And like how did how did it feel to to make that kind of shift between doing something that that you had done before, like that wasn't what you were really wanting to do, and then making that shift into something that that you felt really great about doing? Like, I mean, like, was there a difficulty to to get business, to get clients, or anything like that? What was that experience like?
Well, as with anything, the reason why I had become a massage therapist, again, is because it was comfort.
Mhm.
It was something that I was talented at it. I was good at it. I was an amazing massage therapist, but it was not something that it didn't come naturally to me. And like I said, I was good, but I enjoyed talking to the people. I did not enjoy doing the work. So, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was comfortable. I did it for 11 years because, again, it was something that I knew that I could do. And I just assimilated myself into that role. And so the whole time, though, I was a massage therapist. I was never a full-time massage therapist. So I was always dipping my toe into the pot of entrepreneurship. So I was always working with my clients, teaching them how to use their iPhones. I was an independent contractor with the state of North Carolina where I live. So I would get clients that way. Just people who would hear about me and my work, and, word of mouth, of course, it gets around really fast.
Mm.
So that was how I got my clients that way. As far as even doing speaking engagements, I wasn't really like I said, I wasn't really as confident in my voice as I should have been. So for that one, I wasn't really speaking as much as I should have. But really, that didn't come probably until the pandemic hit. And I knew that I had to do something completely. I knew I was going to get completely out of the world of massage therapy. I had already wanted to be done with it anyway, but you know how sometimes you just get that push, like you
Yeah.
know how the little mama bird pushes the baby bird out of the nest and says you're either going to fly or you're going to hit the ground. So that's what
Yeah.
happened. COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And and
Mhm.
how what was that experience like though, being just thrust into the situation? Were you like, yeah, or was it like, oh no? Like what was that?
It was a relief
How did you feel about that?
for me. For me, I was relieved because to be honest with you, if I kept using that massage therapy as a security blanket, I never ever would have let it go. I mean, it had to happen, to be honest with you. It was kind of like, oh, okay, because I knew, the thing is, you have to have something that's gonna make you draw that hard line in the sand. You
Hmm.
know, I knew that I was not going back. I knew that once I left this time, because I left massage a couple of times, and I always went back. So this time I had to permanently close that door and not never to have it opened again. So when that happened, it was something that I absolutely knew that I was not going to go back to that. And to ensure that, I even, let my license go because now I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that, yeah, I can relate to that so much. Because I started this podcast and I started my company MoodConnect because of the pandemic. And before then, I was always working for these big, Fortune 500 companies, doing marketing and being a marketing director. And yeah, it's really an empowering kind of thing, when you take charge of your own life. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the pandemic, I think, thrust a lot of people into that situation. So uh what were some of the mentors that you worked with that you felt like guided you to the place that you're at today?
Really, it was a lot of times my sister, she was someone who was always entrepreneur minded. And I was also, but she like goes really hard with it. So, I was like, let me get myself in gear. She always, again, was one of my biggest cheerleaders um, all the time. And so she was one who was just like, listen, I'm here, whatever you need, I'm going to help you. As long as you're moving your feet, I'm going to move, I'm going to be right there beside you. So, we went through this together. Um, she helps me, she gives me the tools that I need, and I just use them. Um, in the world of and the funny thing is too, for me, as someone who was blind, sometimes I didn't feel like I had that tribe of people in the blind community. I really didn't feel like I had my tribe
Mhm.
of people who were really out there doing their thing, really active in their community. I just didn't feel like I had it. But again, when this pandemic hit and we're doing things virtually, that's when it happened. I started meeting other people who were blind, who have the same goals that I have and who are working toward them or who are already doing that. So I met a whole lot of powerful women who are blind, who are really out here in their community. So I became involved with them. And again, I feel like, again, that acceptance and surrender to what my life path is supposed to look like, that acceptance and the surrendering process allowed those doors to be open and allowed the teachers to come in and really help me, and we could work together and collaborate with one another, and I can get ideas from them, they can get ideas from me. So I really didn't have the mentors who were blind until I decided that I was ready and made that decision wholeheartedly and just sealed those doors shut that didn't need to be opened again.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely, see how, I mean, when you're mixing with different kinds of groups, sometimes it, like you feel like you're missing your mark. It's like, oh, I want to meet more people who are just like me, like wanting to uh go out and get what it is the goals that we want to attain, and I'm so glad that you found your tribe, like, and that you're getting your community together that are there to support you. um
Mhm.
so, in embracing that world of being an entrepreneur, like what are some of the challenges that you feel like you've experienced, and stepping into that role?
It can be a little scary to be honest with you. So for me, sometimes even today, sometimes I have an issue with confidence and oh my goodness, am I really ready for this? Is this something I really want to do? So sometimes that fear can creep on up just a little bit. And did I do the right thing? And the thing is, I am 99.9% sure that I did the right thing, but there's always that 0.1% that's like, are you sure you wanted to just totally give up that career as a massage therapist? So that little 0.1% is still there, and that can be a challenge. But for me, the way I combat that challenge is with positive self-talk
Mhm.
and self-development courses too. I mean, I'm not above, taking courses to help improve my mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like in that same kind of vein, my next question is, what have been some of your greatest victories that you feel like, wow, yes, this makes me feel like I made the right choice?
Well, for me, one of the biggest victories and one of the greatest things that could have happened was Clubhouse. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like to me, that was one of the tools, again, that was provided to me when I surrendered. And it's been around for, not very long, but I have gotten a whole lot out of that app. And I have been able, the power of being able to make connections with people and really get out there and get on stage and network in ways that I never could have imagined doing in person. It's a huge victory for me because I can go into rooms, I can say who I am with confidence, let them know what I do, let them know that I am active in my community and I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, and by the way, I am totally blind as well. So people get to know who I am before they even know that I quote unquote have what some would consider a disability. It's not that to me, but to some people it is. So it's been a victory for me because again, I found a tribe on there as well. So that is a huge victory because now I have been able to let my voice be heard. I've been able to make connections with people who are getting me who are helping me to get where I need to be. Um, Even be able to with my company iSee Technologies, be able to branch out into other sectors that I've been trying to get into for a while, but again, because I wasn't ready and I wasn't surrendering to the process, the tools and the teachers were not there. Now they are. That's a huge victory for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And uh, do you think that your company will be able to also help people who are visually impaired or blind to enter more areas of the workforce, like
Oh
in
yes,
companies and everyday life?
I do believe so. I think also by knowing how, because these phones are not just phones anymore, right? There are many computers in your hand.
Yeah.
So again, when people who are blind and visually impaired learn how to use these phones, it's not, it is for socializing, yes. You want to create a social media presence, but you also want to be able to use social media to find those support groups that you might need that will connect you to the resources that you might need. It'll allow you to get on the internet and apply for different jobs or get on apps such as Clubhouse and network and realize, oh my goodness, I am an entrepreneur. So it just gives you, so the doors just open up once you have access to the ability to be able to use this phone to its fullest capacity.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, I guess what I was meaning is beyond that, also creating a broader landscape for equal opportunity in workplaces beyond like, work using your phone, you know, like really kind of encouraging companies to create spaces where people who are visually impaired uh, can shine in a brighter way, um,
Mm-hmm.
and enter certain kind of workspaces. It's just a thought. But,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I want, I was kind of curious about is, in your life, what kind of advantages have you found in being blind, that you think that other people, don't experience as much?
Advantages in being blind. That is a very interesting question. Um, hmm. I don't know if I would consider this an advantage or a gift, but for me, I always tell people that I may have been born blind, but I was born with the gift of intuition.
Mhm.
And again, that's just not for blindness, but for me, it has been very advantageous because, the gift of intuition is what gives us the information that we need about a situation, about a person, be it good or be it bad. Sometimes, a lot of times, our intuition tells us, yes, you need to go through that door right there. Or, no, 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 don't do that. Mine is very, very, very strong. And as I get older, it strengthens even more. So to me, my gift is my intuition. And I
Mhm.
have learned how to hone in on it and really pay attention to it. It's that gut feeling.
Right.
And I have definitely used it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I have this friend, he became blind because of glaucoma. Uh, uh, I think it was when he was in his 30s or 40s, something like
Mhm.
that. And and what he had said to me is that, uh, that they, just because he couldn't see didn't mean that he didn't have a vision, and didn't, and
Mhm.
that he can feel more deeply now than he sees, and like not just necessarily like a tactile feeling, but
Mhm.
but that kind of gut feeling. And perhaps, I it can be stronger and honed more when when you lose one of those kinds of senses.
Yeah,
So
you have
yeah,
to depend on it really. Not just our ears, but we have to depend on what is our intuition telling us about a situation. And so, yeah, it's something that for me has always been my guiding light.
yeah, yeah. Well, that makes sense. That definitely does make sense. Uh, well, as you've been in this transition and in this shift and doing all these wonderful, amazing things, uh, have are there any kind of things that you've um, found to be really useful as far as, in keeping your health and wellness and your mental health through this time, and and while you're embarking on your new role as being a founder and an entrepreneur?
For me, the thing that has really helped is again just finding that one thing or that one place in space where you can just sit down and really just, meditate or whatever it is you do. And for me, sitting outside early in the morning, listening to birds sing. I don't know, like I've always loved hearing birds, but lately, especially that I'm home more, I just really love them. I absolutely love them. So even when I wake up early in the morning, I'll go sit outside and I'll just listen to them. And it just brings me peace, just being able to hear them just
Yeah.
chatter away, and they sound so happy, you know?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I have some chimes outside uh by my garden, and I just love, hearing the chimes and hearing the birds singing when I go outside. And yeah, it just, it does something for you, right? And you can
Hmm.
tap into that nature, right? I mean, yeah, so that's something that helps to bring you peace then.
It really, really does. I mean, just something about how free they sound and how, they're not worried about where their next meal is coming from. They're going to go get it. It's like they just know what to do and they're happy to do it. And they just sound like they're just enjoying one another and just having a good time. And I'm like, we need to be like birds.
Yes, yes. Oh, I totally agree. The one thing, the realization that I had not too long ago was that it was one time when I was feeling like just, I don't know, down the dumps, right? And and I went for a walk outside and I looked up at a tree and I just saw the leaves. Well, out here in Arizona, we have
Mhm.
palm trees, right? A lot of them. And I just saw the leaves just blowing in the breeze. But then if you look down, then the trunk of that tree was standing just strong and solid.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, you know what? I think I want to be like a tree. I want to, blow and feel free in the breeze, but I also want to be rooted into the ground.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's like, isn't it amazing how nature can inspire us?
It really is. I mean, I tell you, it's just something about, like I said, this past year, especially, when the pandemic first hit and we're all inside and everything is very quiet. I just thought about, I just love hearing these birds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can be so healing and so soothing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, so Camille, are there any like workshops or programs that you're doing for people in any type of communities right now that that you can share? You know, is there are there any things that you can that you're working on currently right now or that are coming up?
Well, right now, like I said, this is definitely a transition period in my life and my career.
Mm.
But I have, like I said, I have actually created a space actually on Clubhouse, and I've curated the space to be a safe area for people. And I host a room every Wednesday evening at 6, and it's called What's Your Vision? And people come in and they share their vision and they tell us how we can support them to see this vision through. And then, we talk about next steps. What are you doing to see the vision through as well? But I love what I've created because it's a very safe space. People, come in and they might sit out and listen for a little while, but eventually they're going to come up on stage and share with me. And a lot of times I love it because people say, I've never shared my vision with anybody because I didn't think it was good enough, or I just never shared it because I just didn't have the courage to share it. And so I am actually very grateful that I was able to curate such a space that people trust me with their vision and they feel like they can be transparent. And, it's just a very, very powerful space. And I love that I've curated it. And so right now that is my main thing, or not my main thing, but that is my reoccurring thing that happens every Wednesday evening at 6 Eastern for the foreseeable future. I mean, eventually things will change, but right now it's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And so it's not just for people who are blind, it's
Oh
also
no.
okay. Okay, awesome.
Mm-mm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And
And
the name of the
and
oh,
when people come to the room, like um do they, are they they very insecure about the, like, do they feel like, oh, I'm not blind, I can't, like, do they
No,
feel
no,
that
no, 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 no.
okay.
Oh no, because I create the atmosphere. I set the atmosphere for how this room is going to be. So when people come up on stage, they might be a little nervous because it might be their first time speaking, or it
Yeah.
might be their first time sharing their vision. They might be a little nervous, but there, no, my it's all love in there. The club is called Blind Girl Vision Insight. That's the name of my club. But like I said, you don't have to be blind to be a part of this club, because I believe everybody can use a little education. Everybody can use some support, love, and encouragement, no matter who or where it comes from. So no, I set that tone and atmosphere immediately that this is a no judgment zone. I don't care if you're in there with 20/20 vision. You still have a vision somewhere inside of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, definitely. I uh a couple of nights ago, I was on Clubhouse, and I read tarot cards, and a woman came into the room, like where I was, actually we were talking about tarot cards, me and these two other women, uh, and we were just, pulling single cards for people and giving, single card readings. And a woman came into the room, and I believe that she was new to losing her sight, and becoming blind, and she had just gotten on Clubhouse, and she couldn't figure out how to mute and unmute, and I said, you know what, you can just stay unmuted, it's okay, because at the time I didn't know how to, like, direct her to do the voiceover
Yeah.
or anything like that, So you could just stay unmuted. It's okay. And, like, and any kind of sounds you make, it's not going to be a distraction. It's all right, because she was, having anxiety about, like, about the mic, muting and
Yeah.
unmuting.
What?
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but how can people who are visually impaired, like, how can they find you and, like, reach out to you to and do you do, like, one-on-one kind of courses? Do you, like
I do.
how are you able to help them, like, remotely?
Oh, oh, well, we do that through Zoom. And again, I teach people how to use Zoom. First, we start off with a phone call because I have to know, you know, what your level of skill is, where we need to work, because it's all customized, right? So I
Yeah.
need to know where you are as far as knowing how to use the phone, because there are people who know how to use their phone, but they might not know how to do things like shopping apps. They might not know how to use the shopping apps. They're like, I'm good with everything else. I just don't know how to use that doggone Instacart. So I'm like, okay, well, we can work on shopping apps together. So everything is very, very customized to the person's skill level.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, I'm sure that, like, and also there are new apps that come out all the time, right?
Oh
So you
gosh,
have
yes.
a whole new app. Um,
Yeah.
and do you also help people with, other aspects outside of the phone? If they're having trouble with figuring out other kinds of devices, or relearning how to use certain kinds of devices?
I do teach how to use Windows computers as well. So I specialize in the phone because we always have our phones in our hands, right?
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
our lifelines a lot of times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's usually why I'm very, very, specialized in these phones, because that is the first thing you're going to need. You're going to need to know how to use this phone, because it's how we contact each other. That's
Yeah.
how it's communication. Either way you slice it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So are there
Mhm.
any speaking engagements that you're, like, doing into the future, or have you been involved in speaking engagements, like,
Yes.
yeah,
Actually, I
okay.
won a speaking competition about a month ago, and that was a lot of fun. I've also, I'm starting to do a lot of appearances on podcasts and stuff like yours, and
Yeah.
I've been featured on the news a few times. So, again, what I've surrendered and said yes, and the more I get myself out here, the more these things will come to me.
It's so true. It's absolutely true. The more that we put out, like, those, certain kinds of energies onto the universe, the more that those, that it flourishes, and what we are working on, then just blossoms and blooms, right? Um,
Mhm.
and and then that's how we, that's how we just keep moving forward. Um,
Yes.
yeah, well, Camille, is there anything that you wanted to share with listeners today that we haven't spoken about already?
Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to say yes to yourself. That is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. Because again, once you do that, the doors will open. And a lot of times we hold ourselves back by asking, well, how am I going to do this? That's a huge question as well. So I also want to leave you with this: take out the how and know that it will.
Wow, I love that. Take out the how and know that it will. So, is that almost also like saying, I will do this, or like maybe even saying I am doing this? Because a lot of times
Mhm.
I hear people, like there's that kind of phrase saying, fake it until you make it, and then
Mhm.
people I've heard have replaced that with be it until you see it, you know?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So is it like that kind of thing? Like, like a be it until you see it kind of thing?
Yes, you saying I am this, I am that, because you have to
Yeah.
speak things into existence, even though they're not. You have to speak them as though they are. So,
Oh,
again, you have to take out that how. You have to know that it will happen, because that'll hang you up. That'll get you stuck. So you just have to know, if I have a determined mind and I'm putting in the work and getting it done, then it's going to happen.
yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. And you know what? Maybe sometimes things don't happen in the time that we want them to, right?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's a process.
It is a process. It's interesting that you said that phrase I am, uh, because that is something that I think people are awakening to more and more, is the power of, of who they truly are, and stepping into that, right?
Hmm.
Like the power of that, saying I am, and understanding more fully who we really are, and being able to communicate that in a more, free way, and a more
Right.
open way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for, for everything that you shared today, Camille. I mean, and for sharing what you've been working on in Blind Girl Vision. So, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I apologize for not asking you this earlier.
Mhm.
Blind Girl Vision, is that, um, you know, are you, are you using that kind of, is it like a foundation, or like a
It's
is it
it's
more
the name of
motivational speaking kind of
yes.
business? Okay.
Yes, it's
Okay.
motivational speaking and empowerment and all, it all falls under that umbrella: motivational speaking, empowerment. Yes. Because
Awesome.
like I said, I got that name because, like I said, I was born blind, but yet I still have vision. So it's my blind girl vision.
Okay, okay. When I first heard that name, what I instantly thought about was, was it being more targeted to young girls who are blind, or who become blind, or anything like that, but no, it's just basically say it's your I am, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I feel like so much of what you're doing, Camille, is encouraging to so many. And, whether we're sighted or not,
Mhm.
like it's so encouraging to so many people. And, I popped into your room just at the end of it yesterday, on Clubhouse. Yeah, yeah. I was
Mhm.
in the audience, and I was listening, just as you were about to close out. And I just saw how nurturing and how loved everyone was, in that space. And so, yes, anyone who, so it's Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Is that Pacific Standard or Eastern Standard
Eastern,
Time?
yeah, 6 p.m. Eastern, and the club is Blind Girl Vision Insight. That's the name of the club.
Okay.
And the room is called What's Your Vision?
What's your vision? All right. So definitely tune into that. And I'm gonna get any links from you that that you want people to,
Yeah.
to follow up with, and that will be in our show notes as well. And also, also in the upcoming post we're gonna do for our YouTube. Kamille Richardson, thank you so much for sharing all of this with me today. And I usually open my podcasts with this question, but since I didn't, I'll just close it with it. How are you feeling?
I
How are
am
you
feeling
feeling?
fantastic today.
Oh,
I
what
am
did you
feeling
say?
amazing.
You're feeling amazing. Well, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And you are amazing, Kamille. And I'm so grateful for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm so glad that we're, connected, and
Yes.
that, we can see each other uplifting the lives of others, and, just working towards this greater good, right?
Right. Indeed. And thank you so much for having me.
Have a great rest of your day, and yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You too.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.